Welcome back to another episode of Music is My Mantra. Today I have a very special guest, Joe August. Joe is a music therapist as well as a very talented artist. So we have a lot to dive into today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm glad that you could come and join me in person. It's always more
absolutely.
Fun that way.
It's a cool space.
Thank you. This is Jamtasia.
Jamtasia?
Yes.
That's the official name?
That's the
branded name?
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, I like it. I get those. I get the name. I understand it now.
There's lots to take in.
I love it.
In this space. So it's been great to have this space to practice and come back to music. And initially I wanted to put together a new band. And then I just realized that it's going to take time because I'm not really trying to go at it from a super intense perspective anymore. Like I'm just trying to have more fun with my music. And that's why I created this podcast too, so that I could connect with more artists and people in wellness. And you fit the profile of both. So
nice, amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You're from Pasadena originally.
Yeah, so I grew up in Pasadena, LA, born and raised, and grew up in a home of successful artists. So I feel like it was kind of my destiny or like conditioning to go into the arts in some way. Mm-hmm. And I went with music therapy for multiple reasons. There's the practical aspect and the passionate aspect. The passionate is more interesting, obviously. But I just started thinking about different ways to use music as a tool to help people and to have some way of making music for everyone and including everyone in music. And so the concept of talk therapy and a combination of music and songwriting felt like a very cool experience and a way that I could connect with people of multiple different ages. Mm-hmm. So I ended up pursuing music therapy in college, and awesome. It was a really amazing experience. And in the practical sense, I knew that it was one of the only degrees in music that would lead to a job, and there's really no other, degree form in the music field that would guarantee a job, really. Yeah. And so music therapy felt like it was kind of a safer and a more secure decision for a job that would lead to,
where you can still be playing music.
Right, and have the music therapy and my artistry kind of work hand in hand to allow me to do music full time, which is where I'm currently at.
That's amazing. And you're right, most artists have lots of multiple jobs that they're doing when they're pursuing being an artist, right?
Absolutely.
So that sounds like a pretty smart move.
I'd like to think that. I mean, I'll let you know in a couple of years how smart it really was. But for right now, it's working really well, and I'm able to do what I love. So I have no complaints.
Awesome. So you went to school for this type of work, and then you started your own practice.
Correct, yeah.
And how long has it been?
It's been 3 years that I've been doing my own practice here in LA. I mostly work with the elderly with dementia and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. Then I also have worked with kids on the spectrum, developmental disabilities, cancer, at-risk youth. I like having my own private practice just because I'm in complete control of the program and its creation, as well as my own schedule and routine. Yeah. And that's something that I've worked a long time to get to. So it feels amazing to be able to be a young entrepreneur and business owner and be able to function and position my career in this way.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk taking, I feel like, when you're starting your own business, but it sounds like you had a vision from the beginning, which is so important as an entrepreneur and as an artist.
Absolutely, yeah. There is a lot of risk, and it took a long time, The whole concept of an overnight success is not real. Yeah. It's completely not real. And so I've been working at this for years, and even really just last year is when it began to take off and I was able to do music full time. So it took a long time before I could actually say that I was professionally a musician and, doing it the whole time.
First start getting clients in this work?
So mostly what I've found in all forms of industries is that work leads to work. So
It's true.
it started off as referrals.
Mm-hmm.
I had gone to a couple of networking events and was meeting with other mental health professionals as well as musicians, and just doing any type of marketing really that I could where I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't breaking the bank and spending a lot of my own money.
Yeah.
And there's actually a remarkable amount of free resources out there. And so I got my first couple of clients through networking, and then those led to more clients as referrals,
Cool.
which is
They
now
say that's the best way.
yeah, which has now led me to like my current caseload of clientele. So
Awesome.
it was really nice in that way. But like I said, work leads to work,
Mm-hmm.
and so one thing kind of just leads to another in that way.
Awesome. How many clients do you see on a week-to-week basis or day-to-day? I'm sure it changes.
Let's see. I think I have 6
Mm-hmm.
6 to 7 clients on a weekly basis. So
Okay.
I don't have them all on one day
Yeah.
or all on each day of the week, but it amounts to roughly like 5 days a week, like a full-time job would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And how long are you spending with these clients?
Typically an hour or an hour and a half.
Okay.
It's pretty standard for a session time, like any other therapy session. You'd have an hour or 50 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes would be for documentation. It's exactly the same in
Okay.
music therapy.
Cool. And when you're working with somebody, how do you start the process? Because I imagine that each person's needs are a little bit individual, and I have never witnessed a music therapy session, but I imagine that there's lots of different things that you could do in a session.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, it really always depends on the client's acuity level and their cognitive functioning. Some of my clients, I can only really operate in a receptive therapy type of way where I'm just playing. I know the music that they love because I've talked to their family or certain people that have been close to them, their friends. So I'm playing the music that they love and gauging the response based on the music. And then it's really just a combination of talk therapy. If you've gone to therapy before, it's, bouncing off ideas and having elements of vulnerability and then tying that in with musical concepts as well as just playing and understanding of music. So every client and every session is different, but usually it's a combination of conversation, songwriting, music, those aspects of therapy. And it's very cathartic, I think, for people who are not musicians to be able to be involved in music, in actively creating music is really special for them. And so I love being able to provide that and being able to just give that opportunity to them.
That's really cool. Have you ever had any songs that you were writing with clients where you're like, wow, I wish I could record this?
Oh, I have to think about that one. Maybe once or twice. Well, there was a couple of times where we wrote a song and then we had recorded it. It was a Christmas song that was very cute. And I wrote it with a group of 90 or 95-year-olds.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
It was beautiful, and getting them in the recording studio was a core memory. I'll never forget that. Just testing the levels and having them put on the over-ear headphones, and they're asking a million questions about mixing and the board and the microphones.
That is so cool.
And that was definitely one of the coolest moments. And I had felt like I was doing something new because the beautiful thing about recording, which is a huge part of my process, is that it's legacy work in the sense that when you record someone's voice, it remains forever. And it's like immortalizes people. And so that was a really special experience to be able to write the song and record it and be able to give people the recording and the demo and share in something like that,
that sounds really
was very
cool.
fun.
Is that online where people can
It is,
find it? What was the song called?
Oh, I think it was Christmas Time is Here or something. I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
This
We'll
was
listen
like
to it.
maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So it's been a while since this happened.
Yeah.
I had forgot about it until right now. Glad you brought it up.
That's pretty cool. What about recording in your own process? Is that when you say that that's a very important part of your process, is that in your therapy work or just in your own music?
Both. I think
yeah.
this is where we kind of blend the concepts of artistry and therapy, because for me, recording music is very therapeutic and it's what I enjoy the most. I love playing live. I've only recently really fallen in love with playing live. It's terrifying, and there's something that makes that really special. But I like that you can take your time in the studio. I like that you can really indulge in the process and use the studio as an instrument if you'd like to. And for me, recording has just always been special, and it's always been important and valuable to me.
Yeah.
So
a song really becomes a different creation.
Exactly. And you know, because you're a songwriter too, you can write a song on your acoustic guitar alone in your room, and the way that it ends up in the studio, once you work with a producer or a vocal engineer, whoever it may be, you give someone
players
different players, you give someone else a chance to have their own interpretation of it, and it completely changes it. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse.
That's true.
But it does change it nonetheless, and I think that so much of artistry and therapy is about surrendering control and about realizing that you have to stay humble, and in order to be vulnerable, you have to be able to share some of the deepest and darkest parts of you, both on a recording, if that's what your songwriting is about, as well as in therapy. And so I think that those two feed each other.
That's cool. I want to hear about your last album. And I know you have a brand new song. It's out now.
It is, yeah.
And it's called, hold on, I don't want to get it wrong.
You got it.
Love Day.
Games of Love.
Games of Love. Okay, there we go.
You had one word out of 3 words correct.
Games
so
of
we'll
Love.
give you that.
Okay. At least I wasn't completely
No,
wrong. I
not
was
that
listening
far.
to it before you got here. It's really fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the sound of it. It's kind of throwback, retro vibes. Like the going to the chorus, all of the different harmonies sound really nice. So yeah.
Cool.
Before we talk about that, let's hear about your previous album, because I didn't even get a chance to go through it, but it was a pretty thick record that you put out.
You're talking about the full length?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that album is called Modern Sound of Quiet. I made
It's
that.
a cool name.
Thank you. So that was my dad's band name in the 80s.
That's so cool.
And I stole that from him.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. and made that my album title. And I liked it because, for multiple reasons, obviously it had to do with my dad, and he was a huge part of the reason I got into music in the first place. But also I spent every night while in college at 2 or 3 in the morning making that album.
Oh, wow.
And that was the only time I had to make music, because I was working during the day and I had to work on school things, and you know, I had to get my degree. So the only time I could do it was at 2 or 3 and work through the night.
Dedication.
Yeah, and it was quiet. It was silent during those hours. There was no one in the studio. And so I started thinking about how the concept of this album came together, and I liked the idea of this modern sound of quiet, because that's the only hours that I could operate. And so that album is very 60s, very 70s. I was listening to a lot of the Beatles, a lot of the Beach Boys at that time, a lot of Tame Impala, and knowing that I wanted to draw inspiration from all of those artists, because that's really what I grew up on. And so that's how that album came together, and it took 3 or 4 years to make that record, just again while in college. And
that's a pretty impressive, being
able to record it, you know, in the studio was really special, even if it was late at night and I was deliriously tired. I feel like I adopted the whole sleep while you're dead motto at that time. I also started drinking a lot of coffee at that time, which I still do.
Yeah, that can help.
It helps a lot in those settings. So,
what is the heart of the content of that record? Like, was your dad in your mind when you were writing that, or it just came together, like the name of the album afterwards?
I think it kind of just
both?
came together,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to think too much about it. I
Mhm.
needed an album title.
Yeah.
And so I realized I didn't want to overthink. I like to sample people's voices on my music, specifically family members, because
Cool.
again, they're very important to me and my
Mhm.
creation and my process. So I had written a song where I used a voice memo that my mom had sent me. And I just listened to it over and over again. It was during the height of COVID, and I was
Yeah.
feeling extremely anxious and paranoid, right when we didn't know anything that was going to be happening. We had so much misinformation. And so
uncertainty.
I just remember putting this voice memo in my headphones, and I just listened to it over and over again. And in the studio, we had this beautiful grand piano, and I just kind of improvised something over the voice memo and the rhythm of her voice. And I think it was one take, and I just did it. And it was like that. Okay, that's the album. That's the title track of this record. And it's going to be an interlude where things change now at this point in the album. Where before, in the first half of the record, it's very rock, it's very alternative. This is a turning point where things become a little bit more indie. They become a bit more acoustic and organic. That felt like just a turning point in the album, in
like
the
a
sound.
B-side.
That's where you have to, literally, the vinyl, you flip it over to the other side.
Yeah.
So it felt like, okay, this is like a new chapter for this record. And I think it also happens like right in the middle. And that was inspired by my mom and her words and of encouragement during that really confusing time.
Yeah. For everybody.
For everyone,
Yeah.
That was bizarre. So that was definitely, like I said, I feel like that album had a lot to do with family and with just trying to reflect on, drawing inspiration from such a confusing and strange chapter of our lives in the world. So
yeah, cool. I'm excited to go finish listening to
Yeah,
the whole thing.
yeah.
It's a B-side tracks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What kind of music did your dad play? Did they have any recordings?
Yeah, it was very 80s, extremely 80s. I mean, it was literally
like
in the 80s, but there's some stuff that just sounds really 80s, and it was very much Talking Heads inspired. It was mostly guitar driven, a lot of chorus on the guitar, and very fun, danceable, upbeat music. Yeah, I would say
that seems like a
the
theme
Police
that you have still in your music.
Yeah, the Police meets the Talking Heads.
Nice.
That whole era with some punk sprinkled in there. gotta get a little edge to it.
Yeah.
And I definitely do that in my songs as well now. I think making music that feels good is important, and your audience, I've observed people want to come out and have a good time. Even if you're watching an artist that is contemplative or sad or emotional in their lyrics, it's still community based, and it's still meant to make people feel something and meant people
feel connected
in community. So I'm just trying to find new ways to do that in my own songwriting.
Cool. And did you play all of the instruments on
No.
that? Okay.
I played bass on that record. I was making it a lot with a friend of mine, Chase, and he played some of the guitar parts. I know what I want from the drums, but I'm not good enough of a drummer to lay it down in the studio, so I had a session drummer. And then I played a lot of the keyboards. I wrote all the songs, sang all of the songs, of course.
Yeah. So
I brought in 2 session players for that album.
Nice.
On some songs in particular. And there's other songs where it's all me on there as well. So it really just depends on the track.
Did you use any drum machines? I know Tame Impala.
Yes, I did. Okay. I got really into layering drum machines and real drums.
Yeah.
Especially the snare.
That's cool.
There's something about like having a real snare layered with I had a vintage Roland 707.
Cool.
And I loved that, and an 808 as well. I would layer those like none other, and just gets these crazy drum sounds that you couldn't really tell. I liked that it was a hybrid of drum machine and real drum, and there are moments on that album where it's completely a mix of both.
Cool.
So,
cool.
Do love a good drum machine.
Yeah. Well, I know, Tame Impala, I think of like hip hop beats, like drum machines.
Right. Yeah, he blends a lot of genres. Like exceptionally well.
Yeah. With the new song coming out, you
Yes.
have a brand new music video.
Yes.
July 25th?
24th.
24th. Okay.
Yeah.
It's close.
You're good.
Tell us about the inspiration of this music video, because it looks like you've sort of launched this whole new aesthetic for your
Right.
own artistry. And I want to know more about the inspiration for that.
Yeah, the video is going to be amazing. It's fully animated, which is great. I got a team of incredible animators that have been working relentlessly on all of my ideas and crazy notes, and I just appreciate them.
Cool.
The video is really inspired by like my actual dating experiences in LA, which has been rough. Los Angeles is a hard city to date in.
I can second that.
And so I've had some really funny, like in the moment they hurt or they were just
Sure.
annoying or frustrating. Now I think they're funny and I can laugh at them.
That's
and
good.
Look back and realize how ridiculous they were. But I thought, why not turn some of that pain or turn some of that frustration into art? And chances are there's other people who are going to resonate with that. So the video is about a bunch of like epic fails of dating but still trying and still being kind of a hopeless romantic and playing the games of love.
Yeah.
And then by the end, you know, something happens and things change for the better. And it all kind of works out, which I think is true, even though it often doesn't work out in the way that you think it will. And that's exactly what the heart of the song is about. That's what the lyrics are about. That's what the feeling of Games of Love is. So this video is very reflective of that concept.
Cool. Will that be primarily on YouTube or where you
It'll be everywhere. Yeah,
Okay.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I mean, anywhere you can think of a place, I'll put it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And is this a one-off, or are you working on, do you have more songs that you've been working on?
I do have more songs.
Yeah.
I've been focused primarily on a newer band that I've started.
Okay.
I've started this really cool band called Pasadena. It's a Chicano band.
friends?
It's like Latino, half Spanish, half English songs with a friend of mine, Octavio.
Cool.
And we played a show a few weeks ago that's just, it like totally changed my frame of thinking about live performance. And we have a
Amazing.
show this Sunday in Mexico, which is really
Wow.
exciting. We're moving really fast
Where
with
in
this group.
Mexico?
We're playing in Tulum.
Okay.
On the eastern side.
How cool.
Yeah. So we're really excited about that. And it's been fun to sing in Spanish and hit some backing vocals and, you know, focus on writing instrumentals. And we're all inspired by very similar artists and within the indie, alternative, rock, R&B world.
Cool.
And so it's just interesting to take a new perspective at the lyrics that are not in English or half in English.
Yeah.
And so I've really been enjoying exploring something like that, getting uncomfortable in my craft because it always leads to something new and fresh.
Totally. So was that the Aviator Nation show
Yes,
that
that
I
was
saw?
the Aviator Nation,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that looked like a good time.
It was fun. It was very fun. We were switching instruments and
Nice.
I feel like you said it earlier on, I'm trying to take a less serious and less intense approach to my music because really when you have fun and you lose yourself in that moment, you are reminded of why you got into it in the first place.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, oftentimes, I forget about that. And I'm caught up in the next thing, or I have to do this, or I have to hit this deadline,
Like
or
the
blah, blah,
industry
blah.
of it all.
Right, which is
Yeah.
also true. You have to be a business person when it comes to your artistry.
Yeah.
But it is moments like that that are kind of like a fresh reminder.
Yeah, like a shot in the arm kind of.
Have why you did it in the first place, why you got into it. And there was one moment where the band was just killing it and I was playing bass and Octavio took a moment away from the mic and he looked at me during the show and he was like, "It's real, this is real." And in that moment, I don't know, some light bulb went off and I was taken to another place, which is
Amazing.
the whole goal, you know. You
Yeah.
want to leave your body. You want to leave your mind and just play from somewhere else. And it happened in that moment and I was really excited that happened.
Connected
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
spirit or the muse.
Something, whatever, whether you believe in God or the universe or manifestation, whatever it was, you have to leave room for something else to just take over. And that happened in that moment. It was one of the first times live specifically where I really felt that happen. So
Amazing.
it made me really happy to to have that, you know,
It's
and
the
be able to
best feeling in
experience
the
it.
world.
Yeah.
And especially with you're with friends and people that, you know, you enjoy and care about
Yes,
and stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of good things happening right now. A lot
Cool.
in the works.
Yeah. Mexico. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I mean, we've been there once before, but I didn't get to perform. I was doing music therapy.
Oh,
This is going to
okay.
be a whole different thing because we actually
Yeah.
have like a gig lined up at my favorite bar, probably in the whole world. And
Nice.
like the people there at this bar in particular just really appreciate and value live music.
Mm.
And I went there every single day because I was so inspired by this space. And they'd have a
Amazing.
DJ one night, then they'd have like a flamenco duo, then they'd have a jazz trio. It was just
Awesome.
constantly a new, really cool type of music, and everyone there was present and there for it. So it'll be really inspiring to bring our own songs and our
Yeah.
own vibe there.
Awesome. What's the name of the bar?
La Guarida,
Okay.
which means I think the den. It's got kind of a den vibe. It's like a bungalow. It sits above the street. It feels like a tree house.
Cool.
It's a really cool space.
In the jungle in Tulum.
In the jungle.
Sounds pretty ideal.
It's pretty much doesn't get better than that. Yeah. So that's
Cool.
in 4 days, 5 days.
Nice.
We're doing some real rock star shit. We're going
Yeah.
straight from the airplane to the show. I was really
Gotta let you
hoping
get there on time.
Yeah, I was really hoping we were going to do it a couple days into our trip, but
Yeah.
the venue could only offer us the day we fly in. So
Gotta
we're
roll
rolling with it.
Yeah.
We're rolling with it, and we're going to make it happen.
Amazing. Is that what, Friday you're flying out there, or
Saturday,
Saturday.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Saturday.
We're sending some good vibes.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're going to need it.
You guys are gonna do great.
We're going to need it for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to your work as a music therapist.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've learned, or maybe like the work itself has given you greater perspective that like you didn't necessarily expect when you first got into it?
Well, I think for a while there, trying to be the best version of myself and be an elite musician, I forgot that music is really for everyone and that art is meant to be shared by everyone and for everyone. And so the more I see people connect with music that are not musicians, it makes me happy as a reminder to know that everyone is musical in some ways,
yeah.
and that rhythm is everywhere in the world. The rhythm, a schedule, a routine is rhythmic. Everything, the air is rhythmic. The way that we drive in traffic is rhythmic, right? We are constantly set on a grid
Yeah.
of rhythm. And so I think in the last couple of years of my practice, I've realized that when you can sync someone else's rhythm to your own, or help people even just find a rhythm, it's really impactful and really beneficial to people's lives, because we have distractions every day, every week. We have things that take us out of our flow, that take us out of our rhythm, that don't elevate us to the highest version of ourselves. And I think that music and the simplicity of rhythm, it brings us right back to those moments, and
Yeah.
it brings us back to simplicity. And I think
Yeah.
that's important in a really chaotic world and a very fast-paced moving life that most people in America specifically live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the universal language, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everyone gets it. Everyone speaks it. From my world travels, I've realized most people, like out of all cultures, everything, people bond over two things, and that is food and music. And a lot of times alcohol. But it always comes down to food and music, because those are the makings of a good time.
Yeah.
That's a party.
Yeah.
You have good food and there's music, whether it's a playlist that someone made, or a DJ, or it's a live band, or it's a singer, whatever, it doesn't even matter. There's just some form of noise and sound that makes it fun and makes it an uplifted space. It is the universal language, and it's a universal good time.
Do you travel and have clients outside of Los Angeles as well? I mean, I know you said you did some work in Mexico.
I do. I mean, usually,
Yeah.
I mean, the power of the internet is a crazy tool.
Yes.
I've had my video that went viral you know, the world of virality is weird because it is so much online and it's so much a digital form of validation. But the cool thing about that has it has led to real life experiences for me
That's
and
great.
real life opportunities for me. So I have to actually kind of be grateful and lucky for that video and what it's done for my career in music therapy, because I've been able to go to Japan and do music therapy and go to Mexico and go to New York and go plenty of places in the world, and there's more on my list. And so much of the reason or opportunity has come from that video. People seeing that video and desiring my presence and my skill set and ability in their part of the world.
Yeah, that's
And
a huge compliment.
of course, why would I deny that, or why would I not go? You know, this is the whole point. You know, do what you love and share what you love with anyone who's open to receiving it.
Would you say that because you are working with a little bit of an older demographic primarily, that you play a lot of the same music, or is there like a reoccurring theme?
Yeah, I mean, I know so many songs. It's crazy. Like from the 20th century, from before I feel like the most popular is like the 1920s through the 70s, which is an amazing 50 years of music.
So it's a lot of
like big band music to psychedelic to jazz to soul, funk and R&B and blues and country. There's so much that happened. Like it feels like everything happened in those 50 years. And so, yeah, of course, there's certain artists I feel like that will always withstand the test of time, you know, and their music ages really well. Some artists' music does not age so well.
That's true.
There are a few artists, like off the top of my head, I feel like, of course, the Beatles, Aretha Franklin, Frank Sinatra, the Beach Boys, Patsy Cline, Dolly Parton. There are certain artists that just, their music is timeless. It will never get old.
Yeah.
It will age gracefully, just as they have.
Yep, more people just continue to cover their songs.
100%. Yeah, it lives on. And I mean, there are more that I'm not thinking of, but just off the top of my head, I feel like those artists in particular, everybody loves those songs because they're classic. And there's so many of the modern pop songs and albums that we hear today would not exist without those artists.
Yeah, it's true. Do you have any favorite artists that you enjoy playing?
I mean, you never have to convince me to play anything by the Beatles because I love that band with all my heart and soul. I feel like I know so many of their songs, and yeah, I feel like that's the one I'm always down for.
Yeah.
Always. And if I ever feel like I can't think of something or I don't know what to do next, I always have like a Beatles song in my head on the cue for like what I could do, you know, next. Because a lot of times when I'm singing a song, yes, I'm singing the song, but I'm also thinking about what's coming next. Like I almost like to think of myself as like a human playlist.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to probably stay ahead of the patient and facilitate the space.
Absolutely. And you have to think about, like a DJ, what tempos run into each other, what tempos transition, what key is going to work really well. If I want to get to E major, but I'm in G, what's the passing chord I'm going to use? There are certain little things like that where that's just firing in my brain while I'm playing something else. Okay,
off the top of your head, what's your favorite transition of two different songs?
Oh, I mean, like from the early 60s, late 50s, I really like doing a combination of Somewhere Beyond the Sea by Bobby Darin.
Nice.
And Blue Moon. Blue Moon is in 3/4, but I like to do a version that's in 4, and I like to combine those two. They feel like just really fun, and they're like, you know, they're great songs.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best one I can think of right now. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Cool. And when you're working with kids, are you playing more modern music? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's more kid music, which honestly,
like the Snoop Dogg affirmation
song.
Right,
exactly. Yeah, totally. I need to learn more kid music, truly, but anything off Disney is really popular, and they're good songs. But yeah, I think that it's different with kids because kids are the future, and so with older adults, it's like a lot of life review and reflection, where kids, you're helping them, like maybe we'll write a song or make a song about something that they learned in class last week. And this is a good way for them to remember it because they're singing about it.
Yeah.
Kids are the future. So it's helping them to age and grow older in ways that they'll just grow and become smarter and
Their best selves.
Their best selves and
Yeah.
have more, you know, like specifically for kids on the autism spectrum, you're working with a lot of like impulse control and social cues, reading social cues and social etiquette in environments is really, really a big focus.
So what's an example of that? Like when you're in a session, is it partially just the way that you're listening to them and you respond, or like how?
Yeah, there's been times where I was in a one, like as a one-on-one in the school, and I would bring the guitar with me, and then for that day I would just go with one kid to every one of his classes and make sure that he was staying on track and just find ways. Sometimes the guitar could be distracting, but finding ways to incorporate music and singing into what he was learning. So he was attributing it in both ways. There was the class lesson as well as the music. Because then we all process things differently. Like I'm a visual learner. I have to see it, right? But you have the class, you have the auditory learning where a teacher is telling you information. You're also reading information, you're seeing it, and then you're singing it as well, or you're experiencing it through music. So it's more likely to stick. It's more likely for them to comprehend it in ways because there's multiple layers of understanding and learning.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I remember, learning Spanish growing up, and that was always the best way for me to learn it through song and
through music.
learn the lyrics.
Absolutely. Through music or movies, subtitles are a
Soap
good way
operas.
of sure.
Telenovelas.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you got to do, there's different forms of learning. Language specifically is really a good one. And then you start to also learn the way people enunciate or pronunciate certain words and the timing, again, back to rhythm, the rhythm of the language, like where you would take a pause before you complete a sentence, or like the concept of the rhythm of language.
Yeah, it's true. It's different.
Definitely. It's different the way that we speak
language.
English versus Spanish versus Korean or whatever else there may be. There's certain ways that the rhythm of the language is going to flow.
What about, like, you seem like you're pretty steady. I don't know if it's because you've studied therapy and, you have a solid foundation now with your business and your music. What would you say drives you?
I think just wanting to be the best version of myself. I mean, I admittedly, sometimes I can be hypercritical and hold myself to an extremely high standard. I don't think that that's the worst problem to have.
Yeah.
There are worse red flags out there.
Yeah.
But I feel like just the will to change and the will to experience life in the way that I've always dreamed of, and to look back at the end of my life and realize like I did it and I made the most out of all of it. And
you gave it your best shot.
I gave it my best shot. I gave 100% when I could. It's not always easy to do that. We have seasons where we're depressed, or we have seasons where, we're confused, or we just want to be in survival mode, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Or sometimes we can't get out of survival mode.
Or we can't get out of survival mode, right.
Yeah, and we don't even know we're in it.
And we don't even realize it, right. But I think I try and just remain productive if I can, and still enjoy the small moments as well, and the side quests.
Yeah.
Like I've been learning to dance right now.
Cool.
I'm taking dance lessons.
Like
a salsa and bachata, yeah.
Nice.
And it's been really fun, and it impacts my bass playing. It impacts my guitar playing because now you're thinking of your body as the instrument. And that's a really cool concept for, again, coming back to rhythm and dance. And I realized, okay, if I can hear music and play music, chances are I can also move to music and I can memorize choreography.
Yeah.
So that's been a really fun way of getting out of my head and into my body.
Cool.
Through dance.
That's fun.
Just a different way of experiencing music.
but it still helps process. And
Yeah, it's still
move
within
and,
you. Yeah, and it feels good. It also
Yeah.
just feels good. Like any way you can associate music to feeling good, it's simple, you know? Certain things can be
a tool that's reachable for everybody.
Yeah, and certain things can be perfectly explained and put in a box, but music is magical. It really is. Even if it sounds cliche, there's something so inexplainably special about that experience. And so I'm chasing like any form of feeling that.
Yeah.
Dance, performance, singing, whatever. Any way you can express yourself. Fashion is absolutely another one. There's a lot of music in that. There's a lot of rhythm in fashion and sound in fashion, in art, in visual media. There's sound everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to listen and you have to be in tune with it and you have to be open to the experience.
Absolutely. For somebody who maybe they're not feeling so open, maybe they are feeling a little bit stuck or depressed and they don't consider themselves necessarily a musician, what advice would you have for them?
Go outside as soon as possible. I think, you know, you don't have to spend a lot of money to go do something that's inspiring.
Yeah.
There's a lot of museums in our city that are free. There are a lot of events on a weekly basis that are free. Just show up and be open to whatever comes your way. I think that if you're able to, solo traveling is one of the most healing forces
definitely opens
possible.
Your eyes.
Because every time you go somewhere new, you bond with different people from all over the world, which in turn changes you and broadens your perspective of what life can be. And I think that if that's too lofty of a goal or it's too expensive, there are ways that you can find travel hacks and have it not be expensive. There's lots of resources where you can travel for a very, very inexpensive fee. But if not, just explore your own city. Like I've been single for like the last year and a half, and I'm realizing there are other ways of romantic connection outside of with a person, with your partner. You can go fall in love with your city.
Yeah.
You can go fall in love with a restaurant or a museum or a concert or a new band or whatever it is. There are other ways you can... A venue until... There are other ways you can find love outside of, you know, romantic love.
Yeah.
So I think
in your
that
community.
All of it comes back to being open. Just being open. It's easy to be jaded in Los Angeles. It's really easy to be, you know, comparative, to be confused. I get it. This is all the emotion and the experience that we face as artists. But the best thing you can do is get outside and you may see something that changes the way you think.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And just, I mean, outside has so many different venues that you can go explore, like nature versus
100%.
You know,
yeah.
like
That's
you were
the
saying,
cool thing
museums
about
and-
living in Los Angeles is in an hour and a half, you could be in, you know, Big Bear, or you could be in Mexico, or you could be in Ojai, or you could be in Santa Barbara. You could be at the beach, the desert, the mountains. There's so many different places to explore in our backyard.
It's pretty great.
Just get in the car or take the train and go.
Do you have a favorite place?
Favorite place?
Yeah.
Oh, I do love Santa Barbara. I love Ventura County. I love San Francisco. I really need to go to Ojai. I've never been to Ojai. I've heard it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool scene out there.
I haven't been there yet either, but I've heard good things.
I just, for the first time in my adult life, went to Big Bear.
Nice.
And that was amazing.
Yeah.
What a really, really cool town and beautiful mountains and beautiful. It was on the lake for a day. It was so nice, and doing some songwriting out there was just inspiring. And the air feels better and lighter and more breathable
amongst the trees. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's a really, really special place to go visit. So there's a lot really close by.
Yeah, we're really fortunate to be here for sure. I mean, no shade on New York. If you end up going to New York,
right?
You know, it's
New
a whole
York
different
is cool
beast,
too. It's just the concrete jungle. It's a whole different thing.
I feel healthier here, and I think that's a big part of it is just being more open to nature and spaces. And I will say, like, out there, it was easier to meet people because you're just around people all the time.
You're fully in it.
Yeah, here it does feel like you have to make a little bit more of an effort to get yourself to the place, you know, to have that potentially awkward intro. You don't know anybody. You're just kind of looking around.
I love those
until
interactions.
you meet somebody.
Those are my favorite interactions.
Yeah.
I love that. That's when you get that little rush of adrenaline.
Right,
That's my
right.
favorite. But I understand it's not for everyone.
Well, it just like takes some trial and error and getting used to, I think. I think you probably have had so many great experiences that have come from it at this point in your life that it's like you kind of do get that little bit of a high.
Right.
But when you
I
first,
have, yeah.
if you're just starting to get out there by yourself, it can be like so nerve-wracking. And
Of course.
Yeah.
It's just you out there.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Now I'm just like, I'm going to meet friends wherever I go. So
Yeah, same. That's exactly how I
Yeah.
feel. And again, just it comes back to being open, being at least somewhat open to experiences and meeting people and not being closed off.
Yeah.
Because people can read each other's energy from close up or from afar.
Totally.
If you don't want to be approached, you make it obvious that you don't want to be approached. You won't be approached. Exactly.
That's true.
Where if you want to talk to people, if you have something to say, if you're funny, if you're charismatic, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah. I always just tell myself before I go to any place, I'm like, I always meet the right people, and it happens.
Right.
It happens.
What is
that
for
way.
me will find me.
Yeah.
That's the quote I like to think of.
Nice. It's good to have a little bit of a mantra in the back of your mind,
Yeah.
I think, just to make sure it
Right.
like swing and starting to spin out.
It is easy to do that too.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think we're almost at the hour here, so I always ask my guests if there is one song or multiple songs that have saved your life or changed your life in some way.
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a hard question, but a great question. I mean, I have a couple of answers.
Okay.
Obviously, there's no one way to go.
Yeah.
I think that when I was 5 years old, my dad was driving me to kindergarten or maybe first grade. And I remember hearing, he played Abbey Road and in the car, and he played Something by George Harrison in particular. And that song, I just remember, even at that age, being like floored by how good the strings were and the harmonies and the key changes. It just really, I remember going to school that day and feeling different and feeling changed by that song.
That's cool.
Which is really cool because now when I hear it, I almost can like relive that moment and go right back to that age, which is pretty young.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably my first real memory of being impacted by a song.
Wow, that's so
and being a fan, like being a fan of a song, like
Yeah.
genuinely loving every aspect of a song. So I
Cool.
think that was a big one
Yeah.
for sure. There's a song I just heard by an artist named Ralphie Chu. It's called Voy Con Todo.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about this song. I think it's the production
Yeah.
and it's the way the vocals have been pitch shifted, and it's kind of bizarre, but it's also with an acoustic guitar, so there's an element of it that feels very organic.
Yeah.
So cool.
Go with everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's super cool.
English
Yeah.
Translation.
Perfect translation. No Google Translate. It's really just a great song, and the vibe is cool, and I had not heard of this artist or this song before.
Yeah.
It just came on and it was like,
It's just
oh
been
my
sticking
God,
with
shut
you.
up. Like I was like with some friends and
Yeah.
like, we stop talking. Something's happening here. And that song, I've listened to it like every single day. I've almost burnt it out, but it's been very inspiring for this new project, Papa
Yeah.
Godi, to create something kind of similar to that, where it is very much organic and it's raw. With the acoustic, it's simple, but it's the vocals and the melody that are kind of like, it's like similar to Frank Ocean, very similar vibe to Frank Ocean, but in Spanish. It's a
Cool.
really great song. Would definitely recommend it.
Cool. That sounds like into the next chapter. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
A
definitely.
new
I can tell you
inspiration.
right now, a year ago, I would have never thought of this song. I wouldn't have liked this song.
Yeah.
My ears wouldn't have picked up a song like this. So I think it's just, again,
Do you think that that's just because you started this project and now it's like you
yeah, I
have that
think it is. I
inspiration
think
sort
it's
of
like I've started the
rippling?
project,
Yeah.
so naturally I'm kind of on the lookout for inspiration and for what could be, a cool direction to take this project.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I heard this song, I immediately added it to my playlist.
Nice.
And, have been, like I said, relentlessly playing it over and over again.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Yeah.
And did I miss anything? Is there anything else you want to call out, shout out to friends, or do you guys have any other upcoming shows with your new band that are
Just
like
this
here
show
in
in
California?
Tulum right now.
Okay.
I mean, you can follow me on Instagram at Joe August Music for more information, and Papa Godi. We'll be posting there, you
Cool.
know, just to let people know when we're playing live next.
Awesome.
That's the plan.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, follow them on Instagram. And for all of our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in today. It was a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you for joining us. If you got any benefit out of this episode, please share it with a friend, share it on your social media, or just tag us, comment what you found valuable, and let us know what works for you. Until next week, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise. Bye.